Well, with Washington focused on healthcare, not a lot of attention was paid yesterday to what could be a huge concern with Iran. General David Petraeus telling a Senate panel on Tuesday that Iran's efforts have been delayed, quote, a bit when it comes to its nuclear program, and Tehran won't be able to build a nuclear weapon this year.
It has thankfully slid to the right a bit. And it is not this calendar year, I don't think.
Okay, but it's not forever either.
It is not infinite.
Not this calendar year, he thinks. So does this mean that Iran is technically months away from having its first nuclear weapon? Fox News contributor, former ambassador to the UN, John Bolton, is my guest now from London. Ambassador, good afternoon to you.
Glad to be here.
All right, so that was the attention-getting headline, which was not this year, I think. Which raises all sorts of issues about just how far along we, in our intel forces, believe Iran is. What's your reaction to that statement?
Well, it's not all that different from what the intelligence community has said before, but I was struck that the general didn't emphasize how uncertain our intelligence is about Iran's nuclear activities. We're past the point where anybody ought to be saying it's a slam dunk one way or the other, and the general didn't do that. But on the other hand, I think it breeds a false sense of security if people think, oh, well, we've got a year, when in fact there may well be activities that Iran is conducting that do bring them a lot closer to a nuclear weapon or even a so-called dirty bomb a lot sooner than that.
And you say that in your view, the reason Iran is progressing as it is, as we all believe it is we have, quote, ceded America's role in world affairs, believing that that is a, quote, modest thing to do, something with which you disagree, Ambassador.
Well, I think that the plan B for the Obama administration, recognizing that their diplomacy has failed and that sanctions are not going to stop Iran. The plan B is that we accept Iran with nuclear weapons. It won't be a good thing in the administration's view, but we can contain and deter Iran. I think that's a huge mistake for the U.S., for our Arab friends in the region, for Israel, for world stability as a whole. But I'm afraid that's the direction the administration is going in.
How does this factor in, you know, the threat from Iran to the dust-up we have been seeing over the past week or so between the United States and Israel? Israel announcing it's going to expand its settlements, something the U.S. didn't want, and doing that while our vice president was over in Israel, then an apology or, you know, some diplomacy back and forth, and now it seems like we've gotten to a place where we're okay. But how does it all relate? How does it factor in?
Well, I don't really think this is a dispute about housing. I think we have ripped the veil off what the Obama administration really thinks here, and I think they see Israel as the intransigent party. I think the Netanyahu government in Israel has tried to build up brownie points with the administration by acceding to their diplomacy with Iran, by acceding to their diplomacy with the Palestinians, in the hope that if Israel did have to take military action against Iran, it would have credits banked with the Obama administration. I think we can see from the tone and the vitriol of the Obama administration's response that Netanyahu's government isn't building up any credits with our administration. So if Israel is going to take military action against Iran's nuclear program, which I don't think they've decided yet, there's no benefit to them in waiting for some indefinite period into the future.
So what should we be doing with respect to Israel as opposed to what we're doing now?
Well, I think with respect to the Palestinians, you can't have diplomacy effective unless there are two sides that are equally capable of making tough decisions and compromises and then carrying through on them in the years after an agreement is reached. And sadly, we just don't see that capability on the Palestinian side. You can't use diplomacy to build bridges when the gap is too big, and I think that's where we are. And I think on Iran, Americans ought to understand that by allowing Iran to get nuclear weapons, which is the course we are on for all practical purposes, we are enabling an existential threat to the state of Israel, to friendly Arab governments in the region, and to the interests of the United States globally.
Ambassador John Bolton, always interesting to hear your perspective. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.